In terms of today's course aims then, so today we will cover the importance of diversity and inclusion in the workplace. We'll look at the benefits for employers of a more diverse workforce. Why is it important to focus on LGBT plus issues? We'll look at the Equality Act 2010 and the risks of discrimination and harassment. Then we'll look at previous employment tribunal cases, and from that we'll have a look at what not to do and some lessons that we can learn from that. Then we'll move on to think about some positive changes that employers can make in this area. And then we will finish off by thinking about starting an LGBT plus network and what you might want to think about if you're doing that in your own workplace. The first type of discrimination that I wanted to look at today is direct discrimination. So, direct discrimination occurs when an individual or a group of people is treated less favourably than others based on a certain characteristic. It can include less favourable treatment because of association with a protected person or based on a wrong perception of someone having a protected characteristic. So direct discrimination really is all about being treated less favourably because of a protected characteristic. But importantly, and what's sometimes missed, is it can also include associative discrimination or discrimination based on a perception. And so an example of direct discrimination would be an employer not hiring someone or dismissing someone. So both would be examples of less favourable treatment. And doing that because the person is bisexual. So that would be less favourable treatment because of sexual orientation, and that would be unlawful. That would be prohibited by Section 13 of the Equality Act 2010. But as I mentioned, the person doesn't necessarily have to be bisexual for that protection to kick in, because you can wrongly perceive someone to have a characteristic. But if the reason for the less favourable treatment is the characteristic, whether they have it or not, so whether it's factually true or whether that's just your wrong perception, that would still amount to direct discrimination. So important to bear that in mind too